Hey guys, for this week's tech blog is to compare Ruby methods and JavaScript functions. So to do that, I will be using the game I created for our JavaScript solo challenge, and I translated it into Ruby's just so that we can compare both examples. So the object of the game, the goal of the game is to get the dog to the puppy pad in time before they poop on you. So thinking about that, we will need to create characters, which are objects, the puppy pad, and ways to move the dog to the puppy pad. So if looking into our JavaScript, we'll see that I've created three characters. The purpose of them is so that we can do things with the dogs, right? So the syntax for objects, it's var, it stands for variable, I think. Var, the name of it, and name of the object, equals curly braces. And then there's information inside here. So we want to know the name, breed, weight, and location because this will be important in the game. So name, breed, weight, these are properties, and baby, peonies, 5 and 2, those are values. So let's look at Wilfur, the Rottweiler. So his name is Wilfur, and his breed Rottweiler mixed with Corgi, and his weight 30. So compared to Baby, he's a lot heavier than her, and his location's 5. So think of this as a point in the map. Maybe they're at Baby's at square 2 and Wilfur's at square 5. And then we have another one named Miguel, same idea. So these are our characters, our objects in JavaScript. Now going into Ruby. Oops. So with Ruby, we're actually going to create a class, and then these dogs will be created after we call them. So this means that, so we're going to initialize. So we're going to put in the name, the breed, the weight, and location, and we want to make them into instance variables. And the reason why is because the information we have that pass in here, we're going to need it later for the methods. So that's why we need instance variables, which you know are the ones with the @ symbols. So we want name, breed, weight, and location. So just to give you an idea what that really means, it's right here. So when we want to create baby, here's the name, dog.new, so we're making a new object with the class dog. And we're passing in baby, which knows the name, Pygmy is the breed, 5 is the weight, and 2 is the location. So same thing for Wilfur and Miguel. And then we also want to create object puppy pad because we need to know the location, which is 20, and if it has poop, the property has poop, false, because when you start out the game, you should have clean puppy pad. The reason why we need location is because we need to be able to match the dog's location to the puppy pad. And same thing, well, actually a little bit different. So puppy pad is another class of its own because we want to do certain methods to this class. So here's puppy pad, and we want to initialize it. So again, we put at location 20, that's what is given to us, and has poop equals false. You want to make sure you end it. So you'll see right here we use def, short for define, and then end it right here. And the class has to have its own end also. And this is the idea where, like, if you have multiple puppy pads, you can name it. So here's puppy pad 1, a new object from the puppy pad class. So those are the objects. Now we're going into methods and functions. So just for the sake of this, there is a difference between functions and methods in JavaScript, but for now we're going to focus on the function, which is very similar to Ruby's methods. So I'm just going to do only one because there's a lot here. So comment it out. And so you'll see that we want to be able to pick up the dog. So that's the function. So the syntax is function, name of the function, and we're taking in a parameter. This is so that we know which dog we are picking up. Hold on. Sorry. So we want curly braces, and inside we want some code. We have some if conditionals. So if the dog's weight is less than 10, it's really important you put in the parentheses because if you don't, you'll get an error. And it took me like 15 minutes to figure that out. And sometimes JavaScript, most of the time, JavaScript doesn't tell you exactly what is wrong. Unlike Ruby, it'll tell you exactly where, which line, and why. Anyway, so we do dog.weight because we know we're taking in a dog and we want to look at its weight, which it will go back into here and take it. So for example, if we want to look at baby, the Pekingese, we want to look at its weight, then we look up in here and we see that she is a 5. So 5 is less than 10, so what we'll print out is you need to fatten this pup up. If it's greater than 10, then you'll say, wow, this is a fat dog. So why don't we run this just to see? I will comment all the other ones out, save it, go into my terminal, which is right here, and to run Ruby, you have to, to run JavaScript, you have to do node, my solution, and it says you need to fatten this pup up. Now go into Ruby. Oh, Miguel, shh. Okay, sorry. All right, so here we want to create the method inside of the class because it's in relation to the dog. We're picking up the dog. We're not picking up the puppy pad. So we do define pick up, define to, make the variable. Shh. Sorry. All right, so here we also have if conditionals. If the self.weight, so we're looking at the dog, the new object dog, so we do self.weight is less than 10. We do puts, so puts is similar to JavaScript's console.log. It puts something into the terminal, it prints something out. Else, same idea, so if, else, end. I think actually, anyways, yeah, so this is how you do a method in Ruby. So commenting out all the other stuff, and you'll see that when we comment it out, these are pound signs, whereas in JavaScript we have slash, slash, backslash, backslash. So let's comment out let me comment out all of these and run it. So when we run it, you'll see that we just do dot pick up, the object dot pick up. I think in JavaScript we put it in parentheses instead. So to run it, you want to do Ruby version cookie. Okay, so there's a syntax error, probably because right here, it's because I didn't end the class. And see, it's nice because Ruby tells you syntax error in lines. Well, we don't. It's not line 73, but we know it's because we're missing an end. Okay, so let's try it again. All right, so you need to fatten this puppy up. So that worked. And that's mostly it. So that's how you create an object and methods, functions, whatever in both JavaScript and Ruby.